This is Class 107F for the $5,000 Platinum Performance Liberty Run Championship. This took place at the big Saturday night special performance at the Scottsdale Arabian Horse Show in 2025. Our first entry is number 406, Front and Center PA, with Shelby Schaefer as the handler. Here he comes motoring around the arena, and what a beautiful gray horse this is, huh? Comes right toward us and then heads off the other direction. Here you can see how much air he gets at the trot as we watch in slow motion, and then he heads up into the gallop again. That's a fast horse out there. Here he comes to a screeching halt, checks out the camera over there, and then heads toward us. He gets a lot of air at the gallop too. This shot makes you feel like you're right there in the front row, doesn't it? Hey, we have 5 entries in this class, so probably a good time to start comparing this one to the next 4 that'll be coming into the arena. They come in one at a time, obviously. This one's run is about to come to an end as the ring announcer says, "Time!" Time, as in time for his run to end. These horses don't always know when their time is up, but this one stopped right away, and the handler comes up and puts on the halter.
Capture!
So Front and Center PA is captured, and our next entry comes in. It's number 821, Mir Audaz V, with Austin Colangelo as the handler.
2 minutes of music, it will start when the halter comes off.
So this is music I dub in because there is background music in the arena, and I would get a copyright strike from YouTube if I let that come through on the sound. But you can see Mir Audaz V is a very light gray stallion, or actually he's a gelding, and here he comes right toward us again, and I love those shots when they're coming right toward the camera. Before we get too far along, you might want to start looking at which ones you like the best. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video when the reserve champion and champion are announced. And at the very end, both of those will take a victory lap in the spotlight with the house lights turned down, so that looks really cool. If you're enjoying this video, please click the like button, and you can subscribe to be notified when new videos are published on this channel. And you can share this video or my channel with anyone you know who might enjoy watching magnificent horses like these. We have 5 entries in this class, and they are the top 5 that came out of some preliminary rounds. I believe there are 3 preliminary rounds, and then they take the top 5 overall scores. So these are the best of the best. You can let us know in the comments which ones you think should be the champion and reserve champion, but right now, Mir Audaz V's time has come to an end. The announcer again says, "Time!" And this is a little more typical of what happens when their time is up. They usually keep running for a while. But he stops pretty quickly, and the trainer, Austin, comes up, puts the halter on, and he is all done.
8:21, very nice, very nice.
Next up is number 426, Kaja J, with Michael Van Handel as the handler. And try saying Van Handel as the handler past 5 times. Kaja J shows some spirit here. He's a big, beautiful bay horse with a white star on his forehead. And so his time begins. He checks out the flower pot on the ground, and that, by the way, is to mark where they're supposed to bring them in when they get started. Here he checks out the crowd as he comes running our way. He's got such a beautiful stride as he goes around in front of us here. There he checks out that flower pot one more time. I think he might be a stallion, but that's certainly classic stallion body language there. I love how his mane looks as it flies in the wind as he runs along. You can see he's got the tail held high in typical Arabian fashion. And if you'll watch, he does a quick lead change right here, right there. You can back up the video a few seconds if you didn't catch that the first time. Here he really turns on the jets as he comes around. And here again he looks like a stallion. And at the trot you can see how much air he gets, just like one of the previous horses. You can hear the crowd really cheering him on here. The crowd participation is one of the judging criteria. The judges also look for Arabian type, movement, and I think 2 other categories. If any of you know what those are, please leave a comment and let the rest of us know. And then you can see he slams on the brakes there and shakes his head and heads off the other direction. I think that head shaking is a sign of dominance that horses show, particularly the male horses. One last head shake to show his dominance before his time is done.
Time!
So Scott, the ring announcer, says his time is up, but he says, no, I think I'm going to keep running for a while. So then he stops, looks like he's going to stay there, but nope, heads off the other direction. A few seconds later, looks like the handler will be able to get him with a little carrot treat, but nope, he says, I'm going to keep walking along. Finally, the handler puts his arms around him and finally gets him to stop. So he is
Captured!
That's it for Qajaq as we welcome in number 1808 Conquest BR with Grant Crone handling. You can see he's another bay horse as the music starts and his time begins. If you don't know what bay is, that means it's brown like this one, although it could be many different shades of brown, but the mane, tail, and legs are all black. The lower legs at least are black. This one, his black comes all the way up pretty much to the top of the legs. But he takes off and showed us a little speed there, and unfortunately he kind of gets stuck down at this end of the arena. Oh, and that is one of the other criteria, is the use of the arena, so they like to see them use the whole arena. And this guy, they tried hard, but they just could not get him away from the gate. If you've ever let a horse out, you know that they typically like to go for that gate pretty quickly, but this one just would not get away from it, so I'm sure that pretty much hurt his score. That's too bad because you can see he's got a beautiful stride here as he runs along. There he goes over to check out the crowd. They're doing their best to get him to go away, and then finally the handler comes over and moves him out. Dodges away from the second handler as well there. Here again, hopefully makes you feel like you're right there as he passes just in front of us. They didn't catch his run as much as he stayed in that corner, but as you heard, his time is up. And of course, as soon as his time is up, he wants to keep running. But there he stops and stands quietly as the handler comes up and puts on the halter.
Captured!
That's it for Conquest BR as we welcome in our 5th and final entry, number 1698, Inconceivable V with Katie Steiner handling. He's a gorgeous dapple gray stallion, so 3 out of the 5 horses in this class are gray. Gray is a very common color with Arabians, a lot more than with most breeds, but it's a little unusual to have 3 out of 5 entries all be gray. And just look at that gorgeous mane as it flies in the wind. And he shakes his head a couple of times too, again, typical stallion fashion. I've mentioned a few times in this video about horse body language, and if you search on YouTube for Monty Roberts, he is the one who pioneered the modern version of breaking a horse, which isn't breaking their spirit at all like they used to do. He talks a lot about the nonverbal language of horses. He also has a great book called The Man Who Listens to Horses, if you want to read or listen to the audio of that book. I had the pleasure of meeting Monty at a red carpet event in Hollywood that I did some video for a while back. Sorry I got off the topic a little, but I figured people who love horses will be interested in seeing or reading about Monty Roberts' work. I'll leave a link in the description for this video for his channel, and we'll also include the name of his book in the description. But back to this guy, he comes running right toward Howie Schatzberg, the official photographer, and I'm sure he got a great shot right there. Here he comes over to say hi to the people in the booth at the center of the arena. And then there he looks over at the crowd and seems to be a real ham out there. This shot looks like a repeat of the earlier one when he was going toward the photographer, and then he, at the last minute, dodges away from the center booth again. Looks like he's starting to wear down a little bit after all of that running, and his run has come to an end.
Time.
And then this is really funny as he runs over to the center booth once more and starts sniffing the fake cactus. Then he decides he'll take a bite out of the palm tree there. And then scares himself as he does it. You would think he would spit it out, but nope, he chews it up and eats it. He does a big head shake one more time to show who's boss out there as he looks up at the crowd. But then she comes up and was able to get the halt run, no problem.
Capture.
So those are the Liberty runs for your 5 entries, and now they will come back in and we'll take a quick peek at each one of them one at a time, and this will give you a chance to see which ones you think should be reserve champion and which one champion. These two say hi to each other, and yeah, I knew that was going to be coming. And then this one gets a little wound up after that little interaction. Here now is the announcement for the reserve champion, and that'll be followed by the champion.
Welcome to our winner's circle with a final score of 136 reserve Conquest PR Grant Crown. The Franklin Farm, Collinsville, Texas, 1808 Conquest PR goes reserve here tonight. Have we welcome back Terry and Terrell into our winner's circle to present the Sharon Chauncey Perpetual Trophy to our champion, Kaja J. Michael Van Handel.
So pictures are taken, and here now is a victory lap from the reserve and the champion.
$1,500 tonight in Liberty with Conquest PR. Here he is, in the flesh, our winner here tonight, our champion, $2,000 from Planet Performance, 147 in one hand, Kaja J.
If you want to see more videos from the 2025 Scottsdale Arabian Horse Show, you can click on the thumbnail image on your screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time with more magnificent horses.